hostage by people who threaten the very existence of our democracy and our country. According to him, a lot of Nigerians have lost faith in the judiciary. He described the judiciary as a victim, the same way every other institution in Nigeria is suffering a crisis. In response to the statement or the outburst by Matthew Kuka, Femi Adesina, former presidential spokesperson to former President Muhammadu Buhari, stated that it is because Matthew Kuka was not given any political appointment and that he is pained. That is why he made that statement.
Are you a professional looking to immigrate legally to the United States? Today we're going to talk about one of the best options to apply directly to a U.S. permanent residency, a green card, via the EB-2 National Interest Waiver. I'm attorney Carlos Colombo, and today we're going to be discussing what are the advantages of applying under the EB-2 National Interest Waiver, and what are the requirements for you to qualify for this great option. The EB-2 National Interest Waiver changed dramatically in 2017, opening a way for people to immigrate directly as a green card holder without the need of having a sponsor. That is one of the best advantages of the EB-2. So let's talk about those. Number one, typically, for you to obtain a green card, you either need a family member or a company that is willing to sponsor you. The EB-2 National Interest Waiver does not require that you have a U.S. sponsor, a company that petitions for your green card. So that's advantage number one. Advantage number two of the EB-2 National Interest Waiver is that you don't need to make an investment. There are investor visas, but the EB-2 relies solely on you as a professional and your accomplishments as that professional. And number three, it is a much faster way for most to immigrate legally as a green card holder. Most applications for green cards through sponsorships take 2 years or longer. The EB-2 is a much shorter way. And finally, of course, you as a professional, your spouse, and your children under 21 will all obtain a green card through this process. I will encourage you to share in the link below your curriculum, your resume. We can do a free analysis of your profile in order to see if you qualify for this great option under the EB-2. We represent all kinds of professionals, engineers, people in technology, people in medicine, education, accounting. So don't think that your profession may or may not qualify. All kinds of professionals can qualify for an EB-2 National Interest Waiver. So we look forward to hearing from you and helping you analyze this great option to immigrate legally to the United States.
Also, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima are asking the Presidential Election Petition Court to disregard claims by the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, and their presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi that it is mandatory for a candidate to score 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory to be declared president. Now, Tinubu and Shettima are insisting that such claims could have been as a result of either their misreading of the Constitution or their miscomprehension of the relevant provisions of the nation's ground norm. Now, this is part of their arguments in two sets of final written addresses filed on the petition by Atiku, PDP, and Obi, Labour Party against the outcome of the February 25 presidential election. The two final addresses were filed on Friday by the Tinubu-Shettima legal team led by Chief Wole Olanipekun, a senior advocate of Nigeria. He described both petitions as strange and hollow. Tinubu and Shettima argue that neither of the two sets of petitions provided relevant evidence to support the claims of the plaintiffs, that the election was not held in compliance with relevant laws, or that the presidential and vice presidential candidates of the APC were not qualified to contest the election. The defendant said the suits could not even be considered as petitions within the context of the nation's electoral laws, as they were strangely not complaining about election rigging, ballot box snatching, ballot box stuffing, violence, thuggery, vote buying, voter intimidation, disenfranchisement, interference by the military or the police, and such other electoral vices. In other words, most of these issues were not mentioned in their petition. So, however, the 25% compulsory, win in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, is hollow and doesn't have merit. Furthermore, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has dismissed media reports that he is looking forward to running for office in the 2027 presidential elections. In a series of tweets made yesterday, the former Anambra State governor lamented an emerging pattern where fake media reports were circulating. Peter Obi said the supposed interview never took place. He said his focus and that of the obedient movement that he leads would not derail from the original mission of creating a new Nigeria. Obi further said for him, he would continue to speak on topical national issues via recognized news and media outfits, but certainly would not concern himself with cheap distraction. Now, in order for us to talk about this and more that transpired during the week, I have in the studio with me Barrister Evans Ufeli, who is a public affairs analyst, a political enthusiast, and of course, he is a legal practitioner. Good evening, Barrister Evans.
Good evening, Esther. Good evening, Nigerians.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do know that you were here earlier with us, but
Yes.
of course, the conversation continues.
Yeah,
And
very well.
as usual, joining me on the political spotlight is Barrister Joe Nwokedi. Good evening, Barrister Joe.
Good evening, everybody.
Barrister
Good
Joe
night to
Nwokedi
us.
is a political enthusiast, a social affairs commentator, and of course, a legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. As I greet you.
I'm sure you heard my intro when I was talking about what transpired this week. First off, I'm going to ask you, Barrister Evans Ufeli, do you agree with the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto, Matthew Kuka, that Nigeria experienced the worst phase of corruption during the last administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari?
Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of Nigeria, throughout his administration was unaware of a lot of things.
Are you coming towards the end of your career and you're starting to worry that you've run out of time to build the life you always wanted?
Each time he's confronted with serious national issues, it tells you he's not aware. And his ministers and those who are working with him and all whatnot took advantage of his practical absent-mindedness in governance, and did incalculable damage to the treasury of this country. With the Accountant General of the Federation, we saw what he did under the watch of the president, and so many allegations of other persons who have been accused. We saw how Emefiele took his own management of the CBN, the monetary policy of the country, and he also had confessed that he was releasing 500 billion naira to the Minister of the Environment, Disaster and Wealth. So we saw that too. And when you look at the budget performance of the past administration in 8 years, there was no year they had up to 35% budget performance. The money that belonged to Delta State that was seized, that was returned by the United Kingdom, that the Ibori embezzled, that was returned, the federal government channeled it to other purposes. These are very strong issues of corruption, even in government. I agree with Reverend Coker to the extent that Nigerians actually suffered more under the Buhari administration than previous administration, because the administration had a lot of policies that were not citizens friendly, and corruption was at the same time permeating this. During the lockdown, the same minister of Minister of Disaster and something,
Humanitarian service.
Humanitarian service, told Nigerians that she was feeding school children during the lockdown. schools were not on inspection. So they have not probed those people. The relief material that was supposed to convey to citizens who were hungry and locked down were locked up somewhere. Nobody has been probed on those issues. Funds were donated by citizens. Nobody knows how those funds have been. And the president is not aware. The president, at the tail end of his administration, took a lot of loan. The president was also corruptly enriching some African countries, sponsoring elections of some African countries, buying vehicles, donating to other countries, took a loan from China to, sponsor and facilitate a road to Niger Republic. In that project, 30% of that road is in Nigeria. It's an act of corruption. He made several attempts to take money. National Assembly, the Ninth Assembly, were approving all this money as a secondary offender in the corruption that went down the line. So the last administration is nothing to write home about as far as I'm concerned, because they did not do well. The citizens' life did not improve. We didn't add any hospital. We didn't add up. The economy did not grow. Before they came in, the economy was growing by 1.3% under the previous administration, under the administration before the previous one. During the previous administration, the economy did not grow. We were in recession twice. We were in recession twice. The president, he was unaware of all that. So I agree. I adopt the assertions and postulations of the Reverend to the extent that he said nothing but the truth.
Barrister Joe, in reaction to what Reverend Matthew Kuka said, the former presidential spokesperson of former President Muhammadu Buhari said that Additioner is that his name is Additioner, actually Femi Additioner, said that Matthew Kuka is pained that he wasn't patronized and he did not benefit from Buhari's administration like he had always benefited from other administrations. In fact, let me quote what he said. He says, "Who listens to that bishop again? He's too pained that he got nothing under the cassock patronage from Buhari, unlike in the past, as they pained them. It is sweet us." That's what he tweeted. So how do you consider Femi Adesina's response to what Reverend Matthew Kuka said? Remember that Femi Falana too, a legal practitioner, almost said the same thing in that particular convergence. The same thing, he corroborated what Reverend Matthew Kuka said. Even Obasanjo as well was also in that gathering. So Femi Adesina's response to Matthew Kuka, is that something that he knows that we do not know?
It is quite embarrassing to know that personality like Femi Adesina can descend so low to describe a man of God. It's so embarrassing. I've had big respect for Femi Adesina when he was in Sun. I had one article or two that he published, and I saw him as someone that was very, very cerebral. And but eventually he decided to take up that appointment. I was thinking that it will bring civility, decorum, something that will be at par with what is obtainable in civilized society into that office. But unfortunately, I think he was the one that wrote, okay, it was Ruben Abati that wrote there was a demon in Asoro. I think it was Ruben Abati that wrote something like that. Demon in Asoro eventually caught up with our respected Femi Adesina, who was former, I think, chairman of Nigerian Writers or whatever, Association of Nigeria.
Guild of Editors.
Guide of Editors, yes, Guide of Editors, For him to, even descend to use of gutter language, the ependemic, the sweetest. What is sweeting you? Somebody is trying to analyze what transpired in the country. That's, as a spokesman, you look at it and review it objectively and holistically, and dissect what he has said, and what I can learn from it. So you can always find a way to advise or the current government will learn from the observations. You can't grow any society or any organization without having people doing a review of what actually transpired and what happened in the time past. So for additional to get down to that level, for me, it is regrettable. The respected bishop has always been vocal and has always been speaking his mind and speaking truth to power, irrespective of who is at the helm of affairs of this nation. And all the things he said, like I always tell people in government, is quite sad that in most cases they may think that we're not part of this country, that we don't live in this society, that we don't move around, we don't travel around, we don't interact with people. That some people have the opportunity of coming to events to say something. Does not remove it from the fact that we know what they're saying. So when we are lying, we know you are lying. When you are saying the truth, we know you are saying the truth. Because we are part of the system, we experience the system. I mean, we know everything about the system. If Bishop Kuka is lying, Nigerians will know. The price, I went to buy something today after service. Someone was, I was sitting down somewhere waiting for my wife to pick up things there. A woman came in, wanted to buy a tomato. I think they told him for like 20,000 or 5,000 or whatever. The man screamed. He said, "Look, you don't know that is the price." The man said, "You mean this?" It was there. The man shouted and shouted. He came with his wife. Even said they couldn't buy it. They couldn't buy that tomato. I was just looking at them. I didn't even talk. And they went back in their car. So that man is not somebody who can tell that Nigeria is good. He's there. He's witnessing it. He came to buy tomato and he sat there. He shouted and he went back. So I thank God for people like Martin Bishop Kuka that be like speaking. Buhari's regime was hellish. It was torturous. People who could remember that at the short stage of his administration, a lot of people committed suicide. People were jumping from places and trying to attempt suicide in Third Mainland Bridge. So many places. People got frustrated. It was in his tenure that this kind of saga now, what they call Japa or whatever, that
became prominent.
Where you see Nigerians, rushing out of the country in droves. Initially, people travel abroad, but you can hardly see it making like waves all over the whole place and become something that everybody in the list of everybody. So under Buhari, that Japa or whatever became so pronounced because almost average young Nigerian has nothing to do. They cannot plan.
Right.
You go to places, people are finding it difficult to settle down because they can't afford basic needs, of the moment, unlike before. So what Bishop Kuka said reflected exactly what transpired in the last administration. My learned friend has dealt extensively over the issue of corruption that we witnessed that 500 billion was removed every month. That humanitarian disaster, Hadik Farouk or Farouk Hadik or whatever herself is, 500 billion, was removed according to one of the testimonies of MFL. They didn't want him to speak again. We'll get there. The little talk he wanted to, he mentioned just that one, 500 billion monthly. It disappears every month. Nobody has accounted for it. I don't want to go further. For you to know the level of corruption and the level of impoverishment.
A researcher found that men over 45 who don't have erection problems have a little bathroom habit they do before getting in bed with a girl. And let me tell you, after my husband discovered this, our sex life completely changed. This bathroom habit has nothing to do with exercise or those trendy herbs. It's all about the blood flowing through your veins and a molecule that can increase blood flow by a whopping 323% in your little buddy, giving any guy over 45 the energy and power of a 20-year-old stud. And the best part? It only takes 30 seconds. Any guy can start doing it at any age and boost his energy and his buddy's power to the max, making him feel stronger than ever. Just imagine going home at the end of the night, full of that accumulated energy, jumping into bed with your girl and going at it for hours and hours without running out of steam. Trust me, it may sound too good to be true, especially for something natural. But hey, I thought the same thing until Marcos discovered this secret and turned into a wild beast in bed. He even gave it a name, the African tonic drink. You won't find it anywhere on the internet. That's why Marcos put together a free presentation for you to check out and uncover the secret. All you gotta do is click the Watch Now button on the screen. You don't want to spend the next 3 days wondering what that secret is, right? So go ahead, click the button and watch the video he prepared just for you.
What will a great pasta dish be without pepper, without rudo, without usene woko? No. Today, I will teach you how to make a special dish I call Ayamashi spaghetti. Ayamashi spaghetti is a simple pasta dish made with spicy green peppers. It's big on flavors, very hot, atarodo. Also named Woko, you should try it. So if you're craving something different from the usual way of making spaghetti, you should absolutely try Ayamashi spaghetti. It is good for the family, good for your friends, and you can have it any time of the day. So if you are ready like I am, let's get cooking. This is so good. This is so delicious. Spicy, but very, very delicious. Now that you have seen how I made the Ayamashi spaghetti, I cannot wait for you to try yours and show me how it went. Don't forget to share your pictures and videos and tag us on all our social media handles. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Would love to see your posts. Thank you.
That Buhari unleashed on the people of Nigeria.
Now, Barrister Evans, this next question is for you. It's concerning the APC, stating that the petitions of the Labour Party and the PDP actually has no moral ground. It has no moral standing and shouldn't even be brought into the court. It should be completely dismissed. So here is what they are saying. The defendants, of course, in this time around, the win of the duo of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. They are saying that the court, that is the Election Petition Tribunal, the justices at the Election Petition Tribunal should not consider the petitions within the context of the nation's electoral laws, as they were strangely, that is, the APs, the PDP and the Labour Party are not complaining. They do not have a strong complaint of election rigging, ballot snatching and ballot box stuffing or any form of violence or thuggery, or even disenfranchisement or interference. That the crux of their grouse in their petition is that this time around, according to them, that while the elections were peaceful all round and it was peacefully conducted as corroborated by their primary witnesses, that is the presiding officers, and the results accurately recorded in the various form EC8As, some unidentified results were not uploaded electronically to the INEC election result viewing portal. And they said that The other remote contention of the petitioners is that the second respondent, Tinubu, did not score 25% or 1/4 of the votes recorded in the Federal Capital Territory, while the petitioners have also tersely alluded to the respondent's non-qualification without providing any fact of same in the body of the petitions. They are saying that Tinubu, if the Labour Party and the PDP are saying Tinubu is not qualified, possibly because of the double nomination of Kashim Shettima, that what evidence do they have to prove? That's one of the things they said. And they submitted that the petitioners failed woefully to establish their claims with adequate and relevant evidence as required by law. So Tinubu won the election with 8 million ahead of Atiku of the PDP, who was his closest rival. And of course, third is the Labour Party, who came a distant third with a total of 6 million. They're saying that the plaintiffs, in persons of the Labour Party and the PDP, have no strong standing, and that they possibly do not understand the Constitution and the Electoral Acts by their interpretation of Tinubu not winning 25% of the FCT. I need you to explain what that actually means.
Hey guys, I'm here to tell you today that you don't have to be financially frustrated. You can save what you have already or what you can afford on the journey to that dream or goal of yours. Be it a car, a house, vacation, school, or whatever it is that you want to save towards. Start saving small and earn 9% interest on your target savings on Veil. It's all about you, it's all about your goals. Veil also has the auto debit function to help you avoid temptations. Download Veil today on Google Play Store or App Store and start saving towards your target today.
Yeah, this call they made, I mean, because I know that the court has not given a date for the
This was on Friday. This was their final, like the summary.
Their final address.
Yes, final address.
Final address. Okay. I have listened carefully to what they have put forth. Okay. But the truth is that a lawyer will canvass his case based on the provisions of law, which they have done during the tribunal and they will definitely, at their final addresses, ask the court to grant judgment in their favor, which is what they are canvassing. But the truth is that those statements made in their summary or their original address, the courts have no obligation whatsoever to take those assertions.
No, but they're insisting that it is an irony. Basically, what they are saying is that the Labour Party, who came a distant third, that it's an irony they are saying that they are the ones who won the election. Yeah. That without considering the PDP who came second, on what grounds, with what evidence in play?
I understand their assertion, the submission and all that. You see, but that is their case. That is persuasive. Okay, that is what they want the court to use as a basis for judgment and all that. But what I'm saying to you is that sometimes, I mean, every lawyer knows this, sometimes before you file your original address, the court has written its judgment. Because
wait, before you file your original, the court has written its judgment.
Sometimes, yes. Your original address does not really make a difference because the court that had the case from start to finish and the evidence adduced, okay, had already extracted what it needs to extract from trial proceedings, evidence, and all that. So original address is just a persuasive expression to the court to say, given that we have presented the following evidence and the adverse party did not do this and this, we pray the court to look into our own case and then give judgment in our favor. That is what they have done, that submission.
Yes.
So because the fact is that every party, or each party, we canvass judgment to its own favor. The courts have no obligation to use whatever is canvassed at the written address stage in writing the judgment. So ultimately, I don't know why they brought the original address to the public and flashing all that, and it's in the media. I mean, it does not lie in their mouth to take the original address and throw to the media because the case is sub judice. So you cannot take your original address and begin to spread it all over the place. Just say this is what you're asking for, I want, and then it's in the press So you have thrown it to the press as you are throwing it to the court. So the truth of the matter is that it does not lie in their mouth to decide for the court.
Okay.
The court know how to ask the issues in question.
All right.
They have not even talked about their own case where they barely could not even call
a witness.
they call one witness each, and their cases were shabbily done. INEC tendered a document that could not be read. They were dark, blurry, and all that. So, I mean, you point at the other party saying that he has a speck in his eyes, but you don't know that you have something bigger than that in yours.
But they're alleging that the petition of the PDP and the APC is riddled with contradiction, no substance, repetition, and confusion.
Of course. That's the
APC. That's the defendants.
Yes, that's the APC. Well, you know, they will say contradictions. They will say all kinds.
From the APC's perspective, they are saying the PDP and the APC's petition is riddled with repetition, contradictions, confusion, and obviously lacking merit in terms of substance.
Well, that will be said, okay. But the truth is that there's a case of substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act. That is the basis of petition.
Okay.
Once it's two things you establish in an election petition. One, substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act, and two, how the substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act affected the outcome.
Okay.
Then the other ancillary issues are pre-qualification matters and the issues of qualification as regarding, in this case, issues of drugs and formal criminal prosecution. Okay, which are all that once any side in the petition, in this case the Labour Party, is able to prove that there was substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act, and that substantial non-compliance affected the outcome, then they have a case before the tribunal.
All right.
Okay, they have a case. They are canvassing a case. The court will now look at it whether truly what they did, what transpired during the election, amounts to substantial non-compliance. Every election is presumed regular. Every election is presumed regular. Whether people die, whether they took ballot boxes, whether there's a presumption of law, there's a presumption of regularity.
Okay.
So it is the party, the petitioner, who is now at that point canvassing to impeach that presumption of law.
Okay.
Okay. To impeach the presumption of law is going to prove that there was actually substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act. And because the Electoral Act guides elections and electioneering, that substantial non-compliance is the reason this result turned out this way. It could have been the other way if there were substantial compliance.
But you recall that during the elections, we saw areas where persons were intimidated. There was, in some areas, there was, beyond intimidation, you could see that some votes were not counted. Some polling units were scattered. There was chaos in some polling units. Some persons were physically injured. And the APC is saying that the PDP and the Labour Party did not use that voter disenfranchisement as a strong call. They didn't use the fact that there was any thuggery or violence or disturbance. That rather than using such, that platform, that is a very strong platform to say the elections was not substantial in some areas. You're literally saying that, they didn't win 25% of the FCT. that is a very shallow way of presenting a petition to trump the win of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That's not the only issue they come, but there were a lot of prayers. Okay, I mean, this Labour Party called 13 witnesses. 13 witnesses that testified. The testimony, it was not just zeroed on 25%.
Of course.
I mean, that the 25% issue is clear even from affidavit evidence and from the exhibit attached. That's the result that INEC for that President Tinubu didn't win that in Abuja. There's a documentary evidence to that effect, and that need no further proof. Okay, because I mean, it was a document that was admitted in evidence. Okay, so it need no further proof. Now the other issues of pre-qualification. You see, because the truth is that when you make prayers, okay, you canvass arguments and you don't substantiate them with witnesses. Under the election petition proceedings, it is seen that you have dumped it on the court. That is why you need witnesses to speak live to the areas you canvass in your proceedings and the areas that you have raised, areas of issue you have raised. You need those witnesses to speak live to it. And they called 13 witnesses based on the time that was available. They could have called more, like they said, but there was no time to do further. And the other parties called one witnesses each, though that does not determine the weakness of their case or the quality of their case. The number of witnesses does not determine the strength of your case or the weakness of your case. The quality of the evidence presented and the weight that the court will put, the probative value of this evidence is what counts.
All right, Barrister Joe Nwokedi. The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has urged the members of the party, that's the Labour Party, to be on alert. He alleged that the All Progressives Congress is working ahead of a possible rerun. He told his party members to get ready to further humiliate the APC and its government in the polls if their sinister plot materializes. He claimed the statement was based on the information at his disposal, which indicates that the APC was aware that the tide of the wind is heavily tilted against it. He urged the members of the party to be on alert and get ready. Now, this statement was made on Monday by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo. He showed that Abure made the claims during an online meeting held with the Nigerian American Coalition for Justice and Democracy, which was led by Professor Eddie Okwaroji, the Labour Party diaspora chairman in the United States. And for Obiora Ifo, he said, I'm going to read out his quote, he said, rumors have it that those in government are already planning for rerun, and that is one of the support we'll be canvassing from you. He said we should also be getting prepared because since all those in government are already preparing for rerun, we too should not be taken unawares. He said he strongly believes that it won the 2023 general elections. The chairman is saying that the party, that's the Labour Party, strongly believes that it won the 2023 general election given the available evidence at its disposal, claiming that the Labour Party is not expecting anything less than a declaration of its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also attributed to the fact that the Aso Rock has been a beehive of activities where all and sundry has been visiting. In fact, recently there was a visit by governors' wives to greet the president, and he attributed the fact that that is basically what is going on. The rerun and the campaign has already started. But critics actually say that is it possible that the Labour Party is running ahead of itself? Possibly they're not patient to wait to hear what the Election Petition Tribunal would say. You're saying rumors, so where is this rumor coming from? There is nothing statutory about that, statement that was made. So why create chaos? And then in response, INEC has come to say that the Labour Party should be careful. They want the Labour Party should be careful by making utterances that would destabilize the polity if there is no evidence. They should act like other political parties that are mature and have a sense of duty rather than being petty and it's making statements when the Election Petition Tribunal has not given its judgment. What's your take on that?
Naija people with the yarn better tori abeg. For Italian League, Osimhen goals can't be like 5-6, bruh.
Stream live football on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
Okay, the point is that there is no smoke without fire.
Okay.
But as a lawyer, I would rightly advise that they should wait until they see the outcome of the election petition they have at the tribunal, which will eventually proceed to Supreme Court before the final verdict will be passed down to the people. Presently, whatever decision that will be handed down by the Court of Appeal sitting as a tribunal in this election is still subject of being challenged. Any party that will feel dissatisfied with the outcome has the right to proceed to Supreme Court that will sit as appellate court in this matter to decide on the issue. That's the only time we'll now know the next step to follow in Nigeria. But being that the person they are dealing with, so when you are dealing with Satan, you don't even eat with long spoon anymore.
Who is the Satan in this context?
You know the Satan I'm referring to.
Oh, I don't know the Satan you're referring to.
It's not even advisable to eat with long spoon again.
Okay.
But that spoon can electrocute you through the spoon.
All right.
So the people that are dealing with the government in power, the APC, they are good in so many strategies. They are always ahead of people in terms of mischief, in terms of, confusing the people, in terms of bribing people, in terms of manipulating the society and other things. So Labour Party is trying to catch up with them. But from what somebody said, this Freda estate that had issue in Abuja, the wife of the president is giving over 250,000 each.
Yes.
On what ground? Who is
Trademore Estate.
Trademore Estates. Is she occupying any office? You can see that the president has mapped out 8,000 to 12 million people. We saw trader money during the last regime when our vice president was going from market to market, sharing 10,000. It was an official vote buying, kind of procedure that they deployed that time to confuse, the uninformed, uneducated people of the site. Have you remember someone that was telling me before the election, APC collected database of so many people that they have a loan which they will give to them after they have voted the party, and other people submitted their data base, everything. And the moment they were able to capture their data, they began to sell them something else. They didn't. There was no loan till today. This happened in some Ogun State area of Akute, Alambra. So many of the people that told me they actually were interested in capturing their data. There was nothing like that law. So all this information are known to the people. So because you can't foreclose possibility of anything. The court may pronounce an outright winner of the election, or the court may pronounce a rerun, whereby whoever that might be disqualified because if there's a rerun, basically 3 of them will not participate. The person that came first and the person that came second, depending on who court will adjudge as coming first. But from why I want Labour Party chairman to be careful is that if there will be a rerun, it will not be between Labour Party and the APC. To basically be between PDP
and Labour Party.
And PDP and APC.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's first and second.
Okay.
Yes, the 3 of them cannot go for a run.
Okay.
It's only if they disqualify APC.
All right.
It will be between PDP and Labour Party might go for a run. Because if the top 2 will go for a run, 3 parties cannot go for a run. Except if we are creating it. The 3 political parties to go for a run is first runner up, first and second person that will go for a run.
So if the APC is not disqualified, then it's going to be the APC and the PDP.
If court voice election of Tinubu as a president, it's going to be between PDP and Labour Party.
Okay. PDP and Labour Party.
Yes. Okay. If court voice Tinubu's candidates.
All right.
And order a rerun.
And order a rerun.
Okay.
That would be between PDP and Labour Party.
Okay. But if the court does not
vote. If
vote,
court oppose the election of Tinubu by saying that he didn't win substantial votes.
Okay.
Based on whatever that may happen, if court ruled that some votes will be deducted. Maybe what transpired in Port Harcourt and some other places that based on their issues canvas, that votes were deducted from the official votes INEC announced, and it's no longer the winning substantial votes that will enable him to be declared the winner, or because of Abuja, that did not win 25% of the lawful votes, he's not supposed to be declared the winner. Court might say, okay, as a result of all this, we cannot declare you a winner because there was no clear evidence to show that you fulfilled all the basic constitutional requirements and that of electoral are to be declared the winner. Therefore, a rerun should be,
The court can also say that the rerun should be in some state and some local government.
Some local government.
Not necessarily the entire
the whole federation.
Because if there are areas where there were regularities, and the court, in its wisdom, say, okay, there are regularities in this area, but in this area, there were irregularities, and it affected the outcome because of this area.
And if the outcome is removed,
yes,
if the outcome is added, the other party will have emerged the winner.
So what I want to get clear right now is this: if the court voids the win of Tinubu, it's going to be between the PDP and the Labour Party.
Yes.
Basically. But if the court upholds his win but says there should be a rerun in some areas,
but makes pronouncements on some areas he could not, fulfill some requirements,
or some areas that felt like the votes were not authentic.
Yes, or certain votes that will be deducted from the votes INEC announced him as the winner.
It will not be.
That will no longer make him the most substantial winner of the election.
Okay. So it will not be between the APC and the PDP. So the Labour Party will not be in this particular.
Except the court will also add up some votes to Labour Party that will make the votes of Labour Party to be ahead of that of PDP.
Okay.
So this is something that people should understand.
So rerun in the contest does not mean there's going to be a rerun in the 36
states of the Federation
and in the FCT. Usually it's going to be areas affected.
But in this present case now, if we look at the whole issue, treat them together based on the major issue the parties actually, petitioners actually canvassed, which is non-compliance with the Electoral Act that affected the generality of almost all the elections. Because if
it affects the entirety, then there will be an entire...
Yes, because if you go by word of some states, you look at it, the major issue they are canvassing being that BVAS was not used. And
was not used, and some of the results were blurry.
Affected almost all the results conducted in the whole federation. So if they go by that area, basically they will have issue of having non-substantial compliance. And if they canvass on that aspect, it will be very, very dangerous, because if courts will look at the number of votes cast within those areas, if it's like 2 million votes, totality of 4 million votes, and then take number of votes they scored, the number of votes that are like, in doubt, and it's not up to like the margin that the winner, or up to like cannot, cannot push the margin that the winner get to the second runner up.
Okay.
Let's say totality of 1.5 million votes is what is presumed to be an issue. They cannot nullify the election because of that. Because already he has having 2-point-something million ahead of the second person following up. So it's only that vote is more than 4 million or 5 million, which if the other party might have secured it, will add more votes that will be bigger than the margin the winner has within the person that's coming up as second person.
If what was contended does not make a difference.
Yes, to what was the total vote cast, or number of votes the winner secured.
Or if they add what the vote that is in contest to the vote of the petitioner,
it could not be up to.
It could not have won. Even if
those votes were added to his. I think that was what our learned senior advocate, Walalani Peko, that is where it was penned. For me, the Labour Party people were so smart. They did so much dwell on that area.
Yeah.
But that is where they thought that these guys would have focused on. So by the time they will take out 2-point-something million votes in the case of Labour Party and 1-point-something million votes in the case of PDP, you will not be able to convince the court with evidence to show that those votes are yours. You are the one that secured all those votes. So that's why, if you look at what's in Canvass Institution address, it's actually lamenting. I saw that statement he made as lamentation, because he never knew that these guys would go to areas that are purely constitutional, like 25% in Abuja, all the certificates and all these other things, to also put more pressure on the judiciary.
Yes.
Because if you canvass that area, he's mentioning police. Okay, let's say, for instance, in Port Harcourt, we know that there were crises in Port Harcourt. How do you prove how many votes that we have gotten? If actually there was no crisis there, How much is the total number of votes cast in Port Harcourt? How many people register in Port Harcourt? About 700 or 500,000. Okay, how many votes do you think the party will have scored out of that 500,000? Let's say 300,000. And the PDP like maybe 100,000, APC, maybe let's say 50,000. Put the whole votes together, it's up to like 2 million. They go to like Benue again, the people allege something like such, infraction occurred. How many votes did they record in Benue? So if you look at it, so they thought that these other lawyers would have dwelt, on that angle. But for me, every issue canvassed in that petition will be looked at by the court holistically. Like my other friend said, we don't preempt the courts. I was before a judge of the High Court the other day. A lawyer had a matter in court. Before everybody surprised, he awarded 2 million costs.
Oh.
Yes, another person had a matter again in court. Before everybody surprised, he awarded only 20,000.
It is often said that the blessings of God maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. He was blessed with a set of twins. In his wife's first pregnancy, all was happy to the glory of God. In her second pregnancy, was delivered of triplets, all she had through normal delivery. At this point, it became a burden to the family. Her husband is facing a serious challenge, feeding 5 children and other responsibilities.
When I heard that my wife gave birth to triplets, I'm shocked. And I'm also raised or born them premature. So they have to take them from Karachi to National Hospital. So from that National Hospital, they keep them for incubator for almost 3 weeks. That 3 weeks, that's why my financial money where I get run down. I have to auction what I get to pay the hospital bill.
Not that easy for us, so just they manage our life small. Because to buy pampers, buy milk, buy food, no day easy. I dey sell aku, they buy cassava, soap, panda, sell. Now I just continue to do my business. Yeah, I see small money. I buy the cassava, put for water, is soap. I just panda, go surprise. Had to see money to buy pampers for them, buy food for this small one because my husband no get work now.
Since I get birth for these triplets, before we dey eat 3 times a day, but now it's 2 times a day.
I no regret to giving birth to triplets because now work of God. Some people looking for one, they never say, I thank God, God give me triplets. I want to Nigeria to help me to take care of the triplets because it no day easy for me for this condition. Oh, day now. I want to Nigeria to help me. May they help me. I know he get power to hold the triplets. May Nigeria help me to take care of them. I take care of the triplets.
These are miracle children. Anywhere you day for the world, for Nigeria, for America, for Europe, you watch us on Facebook, you watch us for YouTube. Some people they look for picking, they don't get picking. Some people they look for boy, they don't get boy. Some people they look for get, they don't get. Some people they don't look for child. Why some God bless them? Now everyone they watch us, I want to thank you. If you don't get picking or you get children, we thank God. But this woman and her husband, God bless them with 3 beautiful girls. But the challenge they get now, they don't feed them. They don't feed them. That be the biggest challenge they get now. How they want to feed these 3 beautiful girls for this economic hardship for Nigeria? So people did that for the past 10 years, 15 years. They look for picking them girls. So my people where they watch us, in case as they watch us for Facebook, for YouTube, for social media, the only way we will take them, these beautiful 3 triplets. Account number, I know so many of Nana don't they. Some people who send 100 naira, 200 naira, 500 naira, 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, 50,000 naira. Even some people will send 100,000. Even some people will call us for you want to help these beautiful children. As they send that to their account.
So he has his reasons, and the only place you can canvass whatever your grievance is, or displeasure or contention regarding that judgment, is in an appeal. And the other SN also came before the court. He was asking the SN what happened in that matter. He said, "My lord, the court ruled in my favor. Court upheld the appeal." He said, "You mean that they ruled against my judgment?" The LSC said yes. they ruled against it. They say, I would like to have a situation of that judgment. I'd like to know why they didn't agree with me and agreed with you. So I always tell lawyers, you don't celebrate until when judgments are read. You do a good argument, you canvass something, but don't go to bed and begin to think that court will agree with your submission.
And don't share it in the press.
And don't share. I don't even know. Yes, thank you for reminding me that. I was wondering why a final written address will find its way to the public.
Well, you know that there are correspondents and journalists at the Election Petition Tribunal, and they record all these things. They should
not make such documents available.
No, but
even if they do, no, it's like a court hearing.
All right.
If you say court hearing that, which we know, Federal High Court, because when you have some sensitive matters, they will be there. As you argue your matter, they're inside the court. Some judges allow them. They are there. They cover some events. I know one of them is my very good friend, Federal High Court. But the point is that documents you filed and submitted at the registry should not find its way outside to the media. This is a private document you submitted, you filed, to be served on the other party.
The court is looking into it.
Just a court is looking into it, and they brought it out, and people began to discuss it.
Self-help.
Because when you file at the registry, it was moved to the court copy. The other person that will serve is the parties you need to serve. You serve them, and they will file their own country, whatever they want to file, their own written address, and reply to whatever you have filed. That's all. It's not like arguments in open court that people will cover. I mean, the way they are doing all these things, and they don't want us to have a television, what they call it, media trial, and they are still going about with all this coverage, the coverage of the tribunal. This is a document. It's not like open court arguments that counsel will stand up and make it in court. Documents are not supposed to be disclosed to the public. Something that court will rule on. I saw it on the media.
It's supposed to be classified.
Classified document. Who brought it out from the registry? At what stage did it get to the public? At what stage did it get to the public?
My name is Brad Bocha, aka Basketball. Last one laughing is
coming soon. The prank video.
Catch me there. Laugh first, Karila.
You know what, Mr.
Hello. Last one laughing, Nigeria.
Are you a STEM professional and are looking to apply for U.S. permanent residency? Then stay tuned, because today I'm going to be discussing an exciting option for certain professionals in the STEM field. I'm attorney Carlos Colombo, and today we're going to discuss an opportunity for professionals.
All right. So let's look at this particular story, or would I say an ex-federal lawmaker. His name is Oladile. Oladile is arguing that with the EU reports, he says EU mission's report on Nigerian election gives credence to allegations of secret funding of Peter Obi's campaign. And he basically said that the EU mission report was not comprehensive and was too biased, stating that they only, pointed at the APC in terms of infractions, the voter intimidation, the voter apathy that were witnessed in some areas, the thuggery and violence that took place, and ballot snatching that took place, that the reports alluded that it was the APC that was responsible for it. And so the report wasn't fair or balanced. He said that from that report, it's obvious that there are some secrets, some individuals who who are partisan. I don't know how the European Union is partisan. I don't know what their business is with any individual in this country, because the European Union actually were responsible for giving the federal government grants. They gave them funds, to make sure that the elections were smooth and seamless. And immediately the elections were over, we could even hear some of their agents, make reference to what transpired. And they were not comfortable with how the elections, took place in some areas. In fact, some critics have actually said that the EU's report was more diplomatic.
Yes.
They didn't even go in depth in saying saying exactly a lot of things that happened. But would you say that what this ex-general is alluding to, secret funding of Peter Obi, in what context? Secret funding in the context of trying to create any infraction in the polity? Secret funding in terms of what precisely? He's a candidate of a particular political party, just like any other candidate of any other political party. So what is the secret funding? What does it mean? In what context does that actually explain anything? beyond the fact that he said the EU report was not comprehensively covered. He also alluded to the fact that they didn't even have a lot of persons to cover the elections at all the polling units across the federation, basically concentrated in Lagos and Abuja. So how can the EU's reports be comprehensive? Which actually, you know, is in connoissance with what Dele Alake said concerning the EU report.
Yeah.
Yes.
For I think this EU report issue have been overflogged. I mean, the EU report is an opinion of the EU as regards their findings during the elections. Now, that report is not evidence in quotes. It's not at best. You can't even call it an expert evidence.
Okay.
I mean, it's an information, an opinion derived from close observation of the election. Okay, the purpose is so that the government will be able to appraise what has happened, so that in further elections or during amendments of Electoral Act, or they're able to get something in addition to look at, that they will work to avoid future occurrence. It is not a judgment of a court.
Okay.
I mean, it is an opinion of experts who have observed an election. So when you begin to discard it, hit it here and there, it's not this, it's not that, it's not this, not that. It's neither here nor there. They have told you what they saw, what they observed, and what they observed is actually we that were analyzing elections, and some of us were in the field, we already knew these things. If we were given the opportunity to write a report, we couldn't have written anything other than what the EU had written. Then on the issue of secret funding, I mean, the issue of secret funding is trying to use that to discredit the Labour Party presidential candidate as it relates to the law that candidates should not, source funding from outside of the territory of Nigeria.
Where's your paradise? London, Doha, Singapore, Miami, Zanzibar? This summer, Wakanao has got you covered. Lock down unbeatable travel deals with only 10% down payment and pay small in convenient installments. Book now on wakanao.com. Download the Wakanao app for even cheaper deals. Come on, take a break. Escape to paradise. Wakanao. Let's go.
Have you heard? Momo is turning 12 people who refer the highest number of friends into millionaires in the Momo Refer and Win promo. There is also over 200 million naira up for grabs. How do you win? Dial *671# to open a Momo account if you don't have one. Then select option 6 to refer everyone you know. Yes, I said everyone, because everyone deserves to be a millionaire. Make sure the person you refer opens a Momo account and buys airtime or data of at least 100 naira. The more people you refer, the more cash prizes you win every week, and you increase your chance of becoming.
For the purpose of election, okay, which is part of the law. I believe that maybe that is what he's driving at. But the truth is, you are saying that as a citizen. Why didn't you go to court to canvass that? I mean, you are not even qualifying in the first place by the Electoral Act. It's only if you had contested election that you can do that. So, but the parties who contested election, that was not fronted in their process. So, this one is saying is for what to happen now, for what to happen.
That's exactly why I asked the question. Basically, what was the essence of that statement? Barrister John Wokedi,
I'm with you.
The SSS has eventually charged Emefiele with illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Now, you remember the first time when Emefiele was actively the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. You remember that the DSS actually went to court to seek for his arrest. They stated that Emefiele was involved in financing terrorists and that they have evidences to prove it. You recall that that time, they didn't let the judge know, that is the judge whom they wanted to get the warrant from, they didn't let him know that it was the Godwin Emefiele of the CBN. They made it seem like it was just an ordinary individual whom they had, who they got information about or evidence about that he was financing terrorists. Now, this week, Emefiele wrote and said through his lawyer that if he needs to be charged by the DSS, he should be charged and let trial commence. That he cannot be arrested unconditionally, no charge. He doesn't know what his issue is, and then he was kept, in DSS custody. And then the court ruled and gave the DSS 7 days to charge Emefiele of whatever crimes. Otherwise, he should be released. Then the DSS actually now did what they charged. They eventually did, charge for possessing illegal firearms. And then the question I'm asking is ammunition. So I need to read it out because it's important for us to understand it's an irony actually. They said that the case is consisting of 2 counts of illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, which was filed against Emefiele at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Now, a copy of the charges, which was shared, showed that the case was filed on Thursday, the same day a judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja gave the State Security Service 1-week ultimatum to either charge him in court or release him. The SSS held that Mr. Emefiele, who was arrested on the 10th of June for over a month without charge until Thursday's ruling. Now, in the newly filed case, the agency accused Mr. Emefiele of possessing a single-barrel shotgun without a license, an offense said to be contrary to Section 4 of the Firearms Act and punishable under Section 27, subsection 1B of the same Act. Now, in the second count, the SSS charged him with illegally possessing 23 rounds of live ammunition without a license. The offense is also said to be contrary to Section 8 of the Firearms and punishable under Section 27, subsection 1B of the same Act. Now, the case has not been assigned to a judge yet. Here is the thing. Another person now said the charge is a downgrade. This is basically what a legal practitioner is saying concerning that particular move from the SSS. That it charges a downgrade of the much weightier allegations of terrorism financing and economic sabotage that the SSS had earlier leveled against the suspended CBN governor. And that in a desperate move to obtain an order for his arrest, the SSS had stated on oath on December 2022 that Mr. Emefiele was sponsoring the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra. And in the slew of weighty allegations, the SSS accused him of sabotaging President Muhammadu Buhari's administration by financing terrorism, aiding and abetting terrorism, and committing other economic crimes to undermine Nigeria's national security. They also accused Mr. Emefiele of mismanaging the CBN subsidiary in Israel and the central bank's Anchor Borrowers Program. So the question is, if you had all these weighty allegations in 2022, when you wanted to arrest him and detain him, when the judge eventually says, okay, why don't you file your charges against this man? What you did was to say you found him in possession of illegal firearms and ammunition, 1 shotgun. What is going on, Barrister Joe? What exactly does that even mean?
They are all political. When all these things happen.
Political?
Yes.
Do you recall what happened in 2022?
Yes, there are political.
A lot of Nigerians were saying that if the DSS is coming with such allegations, there must be an evidence of truth in it. Yes. And then you have an opportunity to present your charges.
And then the fellow even said in a video, come, let's fight.
Exactly.
You can remember?
Yes.
If you say you have anything against me, I'm waiting, come, let's fight.
So when if you claim that you have evidence, how come you're presenting a shotgun?
See, we know last time we came here, I think I made mention of when the lawyer was writing or saying something like that. Why not go to court and then file a fundamental rights action, urging the court to either they charge him to court or they grant him bail. And if they have this detention warrant or whatever they call it, target when it will elapse and file action in court for it not to be extended.
For the next 6 hours, I don't want to see anybody's teeth. No laughing.
And argue your case before the court, why the court will not extend it. Because that's what they basically do now. They want to detain somebody because they don't want to contravene the provisions of the law with respect to 24 hours and 48 hours within certain radius. They now rush to one magistrate court somewhere and get detention order for 30 days or whatever. And then keep somebody incommunicado, so they will escape violating the law. Now I thank God they finally approved the court, and as expected, court has actually passed a ruling compelling them to either charge him to court or they release him. They can't hold him incommunicado without charging him to court and then without also, releasing him. That is quite tyrannical. And now look at what is happening. The problem we have in Nigeria is that we always indulge in social media, trial. When Emefiele was brought down, a close friend of mine who is Tinubu and AP supporter was telling me this, and I thought, can you just keep quiet? Whenever they want to bring somebody down, they come with all these bogus figures, bogus allegations. See, have you recovered the $90 billion from Diziani? $90 billion that Diziani carted, where is it? How you just called a single individual, carted $90 billion. If somebody like Oshomole was saying it that time, $90 billion. How much is America printing in a year? In 10 years, how much are they printing? How much they have in circulation in Africa? But you just want something that when the poor masses will hear it, hey, God, do this man. So that the poor masses will now transfer the whole of their anger and frustration on that man, removing their focus on the real enemies of the people, which is the government. The same day when Emefiele got down, you can see what I said, look, if Emefiele should talk, Emefiele will sing like a parrot. And if Emefiele begins to sing, so many people will go down.
This, in fact, Showore actually said something as regards to that. He claimed that Godwin Emefiele would take down ex-president Muhammadu Buhari and his entire family.
Yes.
He explained that Emefiele would take down Buhari and his family if he should be prosecuted for crimes while in office.
Certainly.
He disclosed that some senators, members of the All Progressives Congress, Buhari's in-laws, among others, will be taken down if Emefiele is prosecuted.
Basically.
And Showore, we know how avid he is. He says a lot would come crashing down. Right now, negotiations are ongoing. Basically. And this is just holding charge before they let him go.
The only thing about Emefiele is that the current president wants to get somebody, his own person there. That has been the practice. People were even surprised when Buhari decided to continue with Emefiele. Myself, that was one of my greatest shocks. Because Emefiele was actually, recruited into that office by Jonathan. So when Buhari inherited him,
he nearly lost it. He nearly lost his second term.
Yes, but for the fact that Buhari inherited him from Jonathan and returned him to even second term and renewed,
it was a good boy.
Yes, so I was like, this is on Nigerian. As in Nigeria, we are used to that whoever gets to that such a sensitive position where they have access to details.
You heard him now say he was releasing 500
billion. So I know that retention was not for the interest of Nigerians.
No, it's for.
I basically knew for MFL to be returned, there wouldn't have been a lot of what would have gone wrong. But being that Tinubu is a kind of person with his own category of individuals, I knew there are people like an NPC chairman, maybe he's waiting for the tribunal judgment, whatever, will not stay. Most of all these male cows, this sensitive position that they have access to, like, people have their hands and their tails. They won't allow somebody they don't trust to be there. So the major plan is just get Emefiele out of the way, get somebody who wants, find a way for soft landing. At the end of the day, you release him. Because now they won't charge him to court. How would they prove possession of that shotgun? Say it has no license. As a governor of Central Bank, are you now presuming that he's a killer? He has left his lucrative job at the Central Bank and began to carry gun to go and do what? How much is Emefiele going to steal with a damn gun? Has it become a street tout?
No, it's brain worrying.
Because when you caught somebody like a governor of Central Bank, we should be our ears are like itching to know the breaches in his constitutional duties, amount of money that he was able to amass, where he breached some provisions and some norms by granting loans or waivers to some people, illicit printing of money he printed, and all those things. These are the things that will be associated
mismanagement
of funds, public funds, monetary policy, military policy, and that was 2007 bank acts. All those things. This is something that will be like.
And those issues you just mentioned are civil cases.
Yeah, but these are but these are the issues that will be associated with the occupant of office of a central bank governor.
They know they cannot.
Now you are talking of then gone. Are you not saying that Emefiele will leave his exalted office and begin to carry gun to go and rob, or to go and shoot, or to go and do touting, or to go and do what? For what? They make ridicule. They ridicule this country They make mess of the profession. Sometimes I wonder whether they have lawyers or they have advisors.
When Emefiele was governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, we had complaints that the issue we're having with the naira to the dollar is because of the policies being, implemented by Godwin Emefiele. Now we're having a situation where there's this naira unification with the dollar, but you're not having, independent individuals have access to the dollar. The dollar is still coming from the CBN. As by next week, you'll be seeing the dollar being 1,200 to 1,200 naira to the dollar. It is that expensive.
Even Zimbabwe money is not ahead of
no. The question is, if the president has come in to say, I am going to help you breathe. You say you're going to help the poor breathe. If you say you're going to grant people reprieve, right? You're going to give us reprieve from the administration that a lot of Nigerians literally died. We had existing and consistent fuel scarcity. We had the cash crunch. And then, of course, people were about to vote. Now, population census is about to come up. A date is meant to be set up for that. You had people who died. And then your campaign was premised on you giving economic relief on food and fuel and trying to create a healthy economic environment. But ever since you came on board, we didn't, in the space of 1 week, Nigerians did not see that. So are you seeing the dichotomy or the difference or the contrast between what the president promised during his campaign and what is literally at play now?
See, there was something that one man said one time, that somebody wanted to go to heaven and somebody wanted to go to her. So he came to a place and they showed him those that want to go to heaven. They were singing all these sonorous hymns, sing up and sing down, sing up and sing down. It wasn't attractive. They took him to those that would go to hell. They were singing Michael Jackson, Tupac, dancing, drinking, smoking. It was fun everywhere, champagnes, everything. The guy, wow, this is great. If hell is going to be like this, I'm choosing hell. So he chose hell. Then after a while, when he now came back for them to take him to, on the journey to hell, they brought him a place. He now saw people gnashing their teeth, he saw fire. He said, what is this? It's not what I saw. They say it was campaign time. It was campaign time. What you saw was campaign time. This is the reality.
I am Dr. Chris, a health consultant and researcher with iCure Company. I will give you the permanent cure to that ailment with free medical follow-up. Tips: thousands of people above the age of 40 experience diabetes, prostate, bile, arthritis, weak erection, ulcer, HBP due to excessive accumulation of toxins, sugar, and foreign antigens. However, it's good to cure this early before it results to death. Revealed: the permanent cure to diabetes, frequent urination, enlarged prostate, ulcer, arthritis, HBP, bile, STD, poor performance. Testimonies from our customers.
Engineer Deneka. I've been struggling with diabetes type 2 and weak erection for a very long time. Also, before I got married, it was very difficult. I urinate more than 4 times at night. I was worried over this. I almost quit my job due to this health challenge until I saw your advert on YouTube. I took the product for just 5 days and my blood sugar level reduced to normal. Also, there is drastic improvement in my performance in bed. I strongly recommend this kit for everyone having issues or challenges with their health.
To get iCure today, iCure pack is 35,000 naira instead of the actual price of 95,000. Send your name, address, phone number to 090 6316 7792. Call now 090 63167792. Thanks for watching. Call Dr. Chris today and enjoy the promo price 090 63167792 or 070 5938 4844. Enjoy free delivery, pay on delivery. Kindly share.
New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs.
What you saw Boots Heaven and Hell then was campaign time. The blueprint. How do you say somebody wrote on your blueprint for good 8 years? You couldn't point to a singular mega infrastructure that you built for all the money you raise with the tax you just increase. So people felt like on that. Just like when they brought up Buhari, I said, look, this man, there was no record of whatever he has actually done as a commercial, as a cosmopolitan person or read books or chairman of a company or whatever. He has not done any business. How are we sure that this man is going to like run a company? They say, no, he's parsimonious. He's this is a conservative. He doesn't spend money. I said, doesn't spend money, so that's good quality. If you cannot generate money, you can send that money for something good. So the point now is that let us watch. But and again, for the past administration, they borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. They borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. And how do you think the money will be repaid? And already the current government is also borrowing.
Rich, and your neighbors are heavily burdened with poverty. People, 133 million of us are living in high tension poverty. Now, these persons who are not up to 1%, they need a bulletproof card to secure themselves from the people they are representing. That is the irony we're seeing there. And it tells you that they are completely heartless.
My question is this. I have been asking this question.
Okay.
What is the secret of not to repair our refinery?
Okay.
At the same time, that money, what of the area? There is no terrorist to push the money. Hello.
Hello. Can you turn down the audio of your radio, please? Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes. How are you? Welcome to the program.
UK satellite town.
All right, UK. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. My question is this. I have been asking this question.
Okay.
What is the secret of not to repair our refinery?
Okay.
At the same time, that money, what of the area? There is no terrorist to push the money to that area. If they want to do farming, they do farming.
Okay.
And they say that they have signed some of the companies to pay money direct to their hand to buy crude oil out of the country to sell of their own.
Yes, independent companies. Okay.
Yes. How are they doing that? So, in this case, I never see any good intention for this government. There is no good intention to the masses. They are not helping us for anything. All these things they are saying it verbally. They never start telling us how are we going to live in this country.
Is it possible that it's still too early? Maybe they are trying to set up things in place after telling us. Is it possible that we should be patient for them to do that?
Okay.
I'm just asking.
Now they are spending emergency. To disturb insecticide. While in the north, they were telling you that they have to be compensated, and they never go that area and settle them and discuss the matter deeply. Then is it in the east? There is nothing there. Because what they are doing is just verbal something. They are just talking in the east.
All
Then
right.
this area.
Oh, we've lost that connection. We do apologize. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the program.
I'm free.
What's your name, please?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Douglas.
Okay.
My name is Douglas Obasogie, calling from Berlin, Germany.
All right, Mr. Douglas, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to contribute to the aspect of the 500 billion they borrowed.
Okay. They're asking to be given.
To be given.
Yes, they're asking from
I
the
believe
National
they have
Assembly.
already approved it.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't actually know how they are going to determine the poor and how they are going to share the money, the data they are going to use in sharing the money. That is my concern.
Okay. All right. Is that all?
So I don't really know. I'm trying to get that answer from you people.
Okay.
Do you people know how they are going to, the data they are going to use in sharing the money?
There are no data. They don't have any data.
They don't have any
data.
identified
I already
data.
asked that question. I said,
The money
what
will be
data
embezzled.
will be used
said the poorest of
to
the poor.
determine who is the poorest of the poor? I
Yeah.
remember asking that question. I said, what data are you using? They're supposed to use the whole national identity, that's the name,
They don't want
to do that, but
they don't want data, because if they have data, Nigeria will hold them accountable for the
And trace how the money was spent.
Yes,
They don't
because
want
you see the disaster minister, the former minister of disaster,
Farouk.
Zainab.
yes,
Farouk
that,
Ahmed.
that was how he told us. She told us that during the lockdown she was feeding children, and how are you going to hold her accountable? Where's the data? What is it that you're going to use to?
Yeah, without data, how are we going to know the numbers
money is
of
to be
families that
looted.
receive
Okay,
this
let
money?
us save your
The
time.
money
Let
is
us
going.
save
The money is meant to be looted.
The money is meant to be looted. Stop bothering yourself about who is collecting.
Because actually, why I felt concerned, although they call it developed world, but they did not for they like in Germany or other parts of Europe, the people, the leaders, they did not fall from heaven. There's an idea like such a thing. If they want to subsidize things here in, like it happens always here. So like the vulnerable, like even when they say vulnerable, I don't really know that. I don't really think there is those people that's most vulnerable as they categorize it or whatsoever. But like here, there are people, they are still working, but they receive less money.
Only talking about how I'm going to borrow it and spend it, blow it up. It's not still going to solve the problem of the vulnerable. 8,000 naira cannot solve any problem whatsoever. So the National Assembly want to use to go and blow up and order, that one should be suspended.
Okay.
For me, I think it should be expended on the vulnerable.
All right.
Because they are the ones who really need this one. Most of the members of National Assembly who were in the night assembly, they have bulletproof cars already.
Okay.
And the current ones also have cars.
All right. Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you? What's your name?
Yes, this KK good from most of the Mafluku.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Please, I have a question to ask.
All right.
I learned that this money is 500 billion.
Yes, it's 500 billion.
Sorry. If you can help me to get this mathematics clear.
You never calculate them before you call. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It is shared to 12 million Nigerians.
Families.
12 million families. Okay.
For 6 months.
Is 8,000. 5% is 53 naira, family of 5. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, in Nigeria, in total, is over 2 million people.
200 million.
Sorry, if 200 million people shared 5 billion, please, I want to get it right. How much can each person get?
It's not for the entire country.
It's not for the entire country. It's for the the poor of the poor, the poorest, the most vulnerable.
12 million.
12 million.
They said for the vulnerable. The vulnerable. Now, for instance, the whole country shared 500 billion. How much each person can get? I want to get what
we don't know how many we are, so we can't give you that.
Exactly.
The 200 million is an estimation.
Yes. They said it's only for palliatives to Nigerians to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy. And basically, they're considering those who are vulnerable. The vulnerable of the vulnerable. That's basically how they meant it to be. And
that's planning after you had already taken action.
0700 903 903 903. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine. What's your name, please, and location?
Yeah. I'm Shifakunya Alphonsus.
All right. Location?
In fact, this country is granted a halt.
What location? What location are you calling from?
Pardon?
What's your location? Where are you calling us from?
Okay, I'm calling from Suzere, Koka, Suzere.
All right. Go ahead then.
People are dying in this country, and you're talking about sharing 500 million. This country, I think this got
500 billion, not 500 million. 500 billion.
500 billion. Okay, good and fine. I'm certain that this man is not this very current president. He only has fear or that. I'm of the opinion that he's having fear of not to be there.
Fear.
Because I don't know why he's sharing this.
He's
money.
having fear.
What do you mean by sharing money? I'm afraid maybe I'm expecting the tribunal to
do what?
The
no, we cannot preempt what the tribunal is going to say. So let them keep on sorting themselves out.
It's really not with fear. It's really not with fear. It's really not with fear. It's not really like somebody who is supposed to be there now. What do we share the money? Who is vulnerable? Nobody is vulnerable in this country. Nobody is vulnerable.
Nobody is vulnerable.
Nobody is vulnerable. Everybody is vulnerable. Everybody is vulnerable.
Everybody, okay. Okay. Everybody is vulnerable. Okay. Thank you.
They should stop the idea. Let's prove much. Why they do? Can he be saying? Could he be saying? But you should come down, man. If you want to kill, you must be killed. Can you be saying the bullet all the time? You must come down one day for us of the bullet. So.
All right, 0700 903 903 903. Please, when we do call in, let's be cautious of the kind of statements that we make and make sure that it is in response to the conversation that we are having. And of course, presented with the facts. What you know is already in the news, what you've read up, of what we've been able to highlight to tell you on. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, Emmanuel, how are you?
Hello, good evening. I'm fine.
All right, go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think I called on your program yesterday.
Okay.
You see, from the very first day, this president declared that subsidy is gone. He declared it impatiently. So you're asking us to be patient with it. You didn't come in and check for 5, look at what is happening, what has been happening. Because the care subsidy is gone just like that. Without knowing, and I'm sure it makes the implication. And people will start saying, this man has been preparing for God knows how. He has been preparing for 1,000 years. Is this the kind of policy it should be? All the policy has been melting out of Nigerians, has been hellish. It has never brought anyone out of poverty. In fact, it is dragging more people into the devastating position the former FCT leader left us. So what are we really talking about here? We've been raising our voices. This 8,000 of the two, we don't want it, but I'm sure the president will still go ahead to share the 8,000 because I believe if we Nigerians really voted for him, he will listen to our voice. So because we didn't vote for him, because most of us did not vote for him, and
allegedly, like we used to say.
Most of you are, if
if
most of you did not vote, he wouldn't have won. So most people voted, and that's why he won.
No. Not most people did not vote for him. Calculate the vote of.
Are you a professional looking to immigrate legally to the United States? Today we're going to talk about one of the best options to apply directly to a U.S. permanent residency, a green card, via the EB-2 National Interest Waiver. I'm attorney
Labour Party and that of PDP against his vote. So why will you say most people voted for him? No. Most of Nigerians did not vote for him. So you can't listen to our voice. So that's why we will still go ahead and share the 8,000 to so-called vulnerable in the society. So me like this now, I have 0 naira in my account. In fact, I should be the first person that should collect from this money we are talking about. So all the policies of in fact this government the government is not serious. I can say they lack sense of direction. He's just he has always been putting the cat before the horse. Now you just come now, you say you declare insecurity on food.
State of emergency on food.
State of
emergency.
Yes, state of emergency
on food. What does that mean? What does it mean?
Yes, without declaring emergency on insecurity itself. So if you blast out grace to farmers and all of that, who will still want to reach his or life to go to the farm and be killed by these so-called terrorists? So if you don't want to prove, and if you look at the fight as they're fighting, the so-called fight against corruption, it has been one-sided. You hold this one, you leave this one. You are accusing a failure of being in possession of weapons. Whereas Asari Dokubo is displaying his new AK-47 rifle every day on social media. We are seeing it. So what kind of fight are you fighting? This government is insincere. This government, and the way we are going, we are heading nowhere. Everyone is just waiting for the tribunal. If not, people would have flooded all the old streets and start protesting. But because people are still coming, people still want to calm down and see what the judiciary will do. And we are very certain this time around the judiciary does not have a choice than to do what is right, than to declare the right. We don't even want to rerun. We don't want to rerun because if there is
it's not about what you want.
That's
He's part of us. He knows.
If there is a rerun, there's still.
Oh, hello. Okay.
That's a genuine fear.
Yes, that's a genuine.
I have a fear
Barrister Evans, lights were stolen at the Lagos airport, right? Lighting systems were stolen at Lagos airport. A police officer was arrested for stealing cement. I mean, this tells you the level that poverty has gotten to.
The newly built bridge in Onisha Saba. They vandalized.
Yes.
They are vandalizing it.
The rest.
So, you see? And I have a fear that this government may go the way of the one before it.
What's that?
Yes, because they are showing us those patterns.
No, the last one shared 10,000 trader money. This one sharing you 8,000.
Hello?
Yes.
0700 903 903 903. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. What's your name, please? Hello, I can hear you. Go ahead. Yes, good evening.
My name is Masu. They're calling you from AP.
From where?
You see, Masu, they're from AP, Ogun State.
Okay, all right. That means you're following us online. Go ahead, please.
You see, Catholic says, get up before you rise. Stand up and get up before you rise. Please, this Nigeria does not want this thing to be in this way. Nigeria has to come out and block National Assembly. And then say, no, this is not what we want. We need to tell them what we want. If we want progress, if we are talking, we have to be blocking that National Assembly and let them know that this way they are going is wrong. They will continue doing it. So I don't like talking. I want people that know that they have responsibility. People that, bearing children everywhere, every places. Please, you come out. Even if you come to die to get peace is better than all this complaint. Please, I want that to action speak louder than voice than all these things we are talking about.
All right.
Please, Nigerians, if you want to be well, come out and fight for your rights and be well.
Okay.
That is the only thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I remember that there was a time you actually said, was it you or Barrister Ezra who said that until we decide to take things take the gauntlet ourselves and demand that we should be heard, we should be seen, we will continue to be taken for granted. I think that's basically the premise where she's coming from. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Evening. Name and location, please.
This is John Legend calling from Mushi.
John Legend, it's been a while. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, let me put something there because...
Let you do something there?
Let me put something there.
Oh, okay.
There's something I want to put. You journalists that supposed to help us are not helping us at all.
Oh, please. What are we supposed to do with that more than what we're doing?
Excuse me.
Yes.
You people are just bringing matters.
Yes.
Every day we pile up matters and nothing is happening.
We don't pile up matters. We tell you what is in the news.
Calm down.
You're saying we pile up matters.
Calm down. When we want to talk because I remember back in the days when Jolan used to come out bold. They don't when military was ruling this country, they come out bold and say what they want to say. We don't know atom of fear.
Take that platter. We need to be attentive. The zigzag is perfect for that.
Hi guys, my name is Anna and I.
Okay, so what are you saying, John Legend? We should say what precisely?
Saying is that every day we are having one particular problem, discussing it in the radio. When you want to talk, they will cut you off.
Okay.
You should mind the way you talk.
You should not hit up the polity. We are being censored. There's a regulation. We should not cause anarchy or destabilize the polity.
Let me tell you, this regulation is what kept us where we are today. Because why Nigerian Constitution was made, listen, the Nigerian Constitution was made to please the military, not for the democracy.
John Legend, do you have something to say concerning the conversation we're having this evening?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I am saying is that we will continue crying and they will continue looting.
Okay.
Because why? We cannot voice out. Because when we want to voice out, when we want to shout, when we want to scream, they will say no. We are going contrary.
John Legend, voice out. Scream. We're here. We're listening to you.
I am voicing out because why? We have already borrowed this money.
Okay.
I don't know where it is again.
Okay.
In fact, I'm tired of the country, seriously.
John Legend, thank you for calling. Barrister Joe, please, what are your final thoughts?
John Legend is telling you to do what India Amin of Uganda said. Freedom from speech is guaranteed. But freedom after speech, you cannot guarantee. So you have the right to say whatever you say. But what happens to you after you have finished saying? It's not his. He can't guarantee you. So John Legend, the media people are trying to learn from India Amin of Uganda. He said everybody in this Uganda, you have the freedom of speech as enshrined in our constitution. So you are free to say whatever that you want to say. But freedom after speech is what I don't guarantee you.
Okay. Barrister Evans.
But we have to speak.
Yes.
I will have to bear our minds because people will have to say, hey, where's the shoe?
Those
who are pinches. Some people don't even have food to eat. Some people, I would have one accord. I saving that money. He has to like enroll. Some people are even asking for how they get the money. Going back to what I think one of the ancient leaders said, that leaders are like they remove all the feathers of a fowl, put you in the cold. You become so cold, they just throw one corn on you. You start looking at them as the Messiah, forgetting the father, the one that removed all the feathers from you. That's the Lenin. I think Lenin said that. That's the kind of political ideology that our people have borrowed. People are suffering, and let them know that when you push somebody to the wall, he has no option but to turn back.
Barrister Evans, do you think cost of governance should be reduced, or should have been the first lady's administration should have worked on?
Yes, I think that sacrifice is necessary. The cost of governance is too much. I mean, we practice a presidential system of government that have unicameral legislature. Whatever you have, bicameral, right? Bicameral legislature, where you have two separate houses. Whatever this one is demanding is what the other is demanding.
And then the two of them will end up doing the same thing.
And they will end up doing the same thing. So I think we should change the system of government, amend the constitution, reduce costs. The elite, political leaders should try as much as possible to sacrifice. The masses have done enough. The only thing that they are enjoying, which is the subsidy, has been taken away from them. Now, fuel has increased. The subsidy was removed thoughtlessly just like the trademark of this government. They do things thoughtlessly. Now
They hit the ground running.
Yes, down there.
That's what they told you.
They are now planning on how to now cushion the effect of the. This whole thing is not. This government is not prepared, and my fear is that they may go the way of the one before it.
Or worse.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister John Wukedi, Barrister Evan Sufeli, for your time on the Political Spotlight. We do appreciate you. Tomorrow, which is July 17, the Political Spotlight, there will be a repeat of a repeat broadcast of this program precisely from 12:30 or 12:35 or 12:40. You know, so if you were not part of the conversation, you can be part of the conversation tomorrow. You can listen to what was talked about and possibly, you know, comment on YouTube. My name is Esther Wachiku. Make sure you subscribe to at Voice of the People 90.3 FM on YouTube and at VOP TV Live on YouTube as well. Bye for now.
Satan plays an enormous role in religion. Find out if Satan has infiltrated your church.
Evil is closer than you think. Is your church really teaching you the plain truth that Jesus